My name is Claudia. I am a recent graduate from the University of Edinburgh, and I graduated in biology with an honours in plant science last year. In the past year, I've actually not been working in plant science, but I've been working as a lab technician, first in industry in a CoViD lab, and then in academia in a CoViD research lab. So doing essentially a similar job, but in two very different environments. And right now I am going to be starting my PhD in October at the University of Western Sydney in plant pathology, so looking to engineer plant resistance in Broccolini. Broccolini because they're such a delicate crop in Australia especially, they're just being attacked by all kinds of diseases, mainly rusts, and it's mainly because of climate change, and it's become increasingly difficult to cultivate them outside. So what's being researched is how to move cultivation in completely indoors, and so part of my research was going to look at which substrates to use to grow these crops, and what sort of molecular techniques we can use to actually engineer pathogen resistance. So it's probably going to involve CRISPR, and because it's not a very already well-established PhD, I'm going to have quite a fair bit of liberty of what I want to do. So we'll see. Actually, my experience when it comes to passion in plant science did not stem immediately in my undergrad. I became interested in first year, but sort of this is an interesting topic. But at that point, I was completely into my genetics, and I really wanted to do a genetics honors. But then, the further I went on, the more courses I did, and what really changed my view was getting an internship at Forest Research, and so researching the impact of Phytophthora arborum on larch trees in Scotland, and seeing what the effects are of moving soil with big machinery from one side to the other, and if that impacts infection. And from that on, I started getting interested in forest pathogens and how they affect both forestry, but also just wild woods, and how important it is in countries like the UK, where there aren't that many species of trees that are cultivated, or that many species of trees in general, and so each new pathogen has a huge impact on our very, very depleted forests. And so from then on, I just decided to go into plant science, and so switched my honors. And I went into plant science, and my passion is research, and it's plant pathology in general, so it just felt natural to go into research. But I did want to do a bout in industry, because it's something that I think everybody needs to dip their toes into if they're not entirely sure, because a PhD is a 3 or 4 year commitment, so it's a really big time commitment, and it requires a lot of you need to be extremely sure what you're doing, so it's important to explore other avenues, and I did that, and I decided to do a PhD after all.